So this section, I can describe transformations of quadratic functions. I can graph transformations of quadratic functions. I can write functions that represent transformations of quadratic functions, which we've already done, really. Okay? We had a couple of those types of problems on our quiz, our test yesterday, chapter 1. So today should be a review for you guys. There is one thing that we didn't do in the last chapter that we're going to do today, which is the, the horizontal compressions and stretches. Okay? So just you and your person beside you, on either side of you, discuss amongst yourselves and match them up for me. Match the graph A, B, C, D, E, or F with the function A, B, C, D, E, or F. They're not, like A doesn't go with A and so on. So like the G function, try to match the G function with one of these pictures, and then for each one. Okay, and you guys are allowed to talk among yourselves if you want. Think about where the parent function is for your quadratic, your parabola. And then think about, your transformation, like you had to yesterday on your test. You had to know that number 2, right? Which way it moved, right, left, up, or down. We had a few. What makes them flip, reflect, that kind of stuff. You're allowed to talk to each other. Brendan, you're allowed to talk to the girls. I know you're the rose between the two thorns there, right?
Yeah, so it's in the parentheses and it says -2, it's right 2. So there's a negative on the outside, so it's
You're right.
yeah, so
Which one is it?
A is D. Yeah, okay.
Very good.
And then B, what is it? Right 2, and then +2. It's gonna be up.
So I'll give you a little hint, reminder. There's the parent function in green, right? So hopefully that'll help you a little bit. Excuse me, got the hiccups a little bit.
It's going right 2 and then up 2. So these C would be
Alexa, you got them all already?
C would be F.
My calculator's like stuck.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, thanks. I see.
Let's go Zoom 6.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Yeah. You have a,
What's going to be 5.
thanks.
We're playing anyway. Thanks.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Is this your first class of the day?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. X.5. I didn't tell you anything.
I hear Peyton talking, and what she's saying is right so far. I haven't heard much of anything else again. You have a graphing calculator that could help you too, right? How do you put it in your graphing calculator? Yeah, your y equals button, right? So if you just type it in, your graphing calculator, you could see that stuff as well, right? So I'll get mine started. I haven't started it up yet. But we really don't need the graphing calculator. You guys should be able to figure it out. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and talk through this. All right, so this first g of x, you see the negative out front. The negative in front of the whole thing, is that a reflection about the x-axis or the y? The x, right? So it's got to be one of these three, right? A, D, or E, because it's a reflection there. So A, C, and F, you see that negative out front of those is going to match up with A, D, or E, but we're not sure which ones yet. Okay? This x minus 2 inside the parentheses, we're doing it to the x, means we're doing it along the x-axis horizontally, right? So if it's x minus 2, what did we say was happening? Peyton.
Which one?
We go x minus 2, what's happening?
Yeah, it's going to the right.
Right, we did that yesterday on the test, right? A right or left like that. So we're going right 2 and it's flipped. So wouldn't that go here? Wouldn't D go with A? You guys with us? Okay. Let's look at B. No negative out front, so it's one of the B, C, or F, the ones that open up, right? This one has moved right 2. We did the x minus 2. What's the plus 2 outside me? Up 2, right? So right 2 there, but not up 2. Right 2, up 2. So that would be C, right? You with us? Making sense? Right? Good. Letter C, negative out front, so it's flipped, so it's either A or E. Now there's x is plus 2, which means it's going to move left 2, and minus 2 down 2, all right? So left 2 down 2 would be A, right? Let's change the color here. Okay. And now we're at this one. The 0.5 out front, vertical stretch or compression, right? When we multiply by the whole thing. All right? And then, since it's stretching it, it's making it skinnier, right? And it went right 2 and down 2. Did it make it skinnier, or maybe it made it? Oh, it's half. It's a half, so it's between 0 and 1, so it's not stretching it, it's compressing it, right? So it's making it wider or fatter, so it's F. Okay? And now we're down to, well, now we can just, the negative's got to be which one? This has to be E, right? Because of the negative reflected it. But it moved left, it went up 2. Left 2 and up 2. And then, what other color haven't I used? Red. Does that make sense, kind of how we went through that? Shouldn't we be able to do that without going into our calculator? But again, it's okay if you use your calculator to help you. Okay? It's a tool we have. Let's use it. Okay? Now, down below here, how do the constants A, H, and K affect the graph? Okay? The H makes it move which way? Right or left? The K makes it move up or down. Okay? So let's do that. We'll do H, right or left. K, up or down. And what's the A do?
The number.
the A could reflect, or it could, well, let's do a different color. Okay, the A could reflect if it becomes negative, right? Also, it could stretch or shrink, what I like to say compress. Okay, so that's what those things do. All right. Now, this point, all these black dots, hopefully I hit it at the right spot. It's called the vertex of the parabola. Okay? I don't know if we've said that or not before, but that's called the vertex of your parabola. All right, so describing transformations. Again, I think we already got this. This is basically a review course, right? But anyway, a quadratic function is a function that can be written in this form, okay? This is called vertex form. You know, y equals mx plus b, we call slope-intercept form, right? Because we could tell what the slope was in the y-intercept, right? Well, we call this vertex form because I can tell what the vertex of the parabola is. That h value and that k value is the vertex of the parabola. Okay? So if we go back, let's just look at A here, which was D, right? The vertex is positive 2 because it's what makes that 0. If I put a 2 in for x, I get 0 in there, okay? Or you think of it as the opposite, all right? So the vertex is the opposite of that minus 2, 2. And what's outside here? Do you see a number? Is there a plus anything? So if nothing's there, what do we write for nothing? 0, right? So the vertex there is 2, 0. Okay? Here, the vertex is negative 2, negative 2. Right there. That's the one that matched up, right? B, that's this one. The vertex is positive 2. And since nothing's written there, 0, right there. Okay? So when it's written in that form, like these were, in the vertex form, just by looking at it, you can tell where the vertex is of your parabola. Okay? If you see a negative out front of it, that means it opens down. If there's no negative out front, thank you, Emma. If it's a positive number out front of the parentheses, like here, E is a positive 2, and D is a positive 1/2, opens up. This is no number out front, means a positive 1 out front. It opened up. Okay? So just some things that you can look at real quick when it's in vertex form. Okay? So, again, we looked at this before, and we kind of, on the reflections, on the stretches and shrinks, we didn't really work on the horizontal one, so we'll go over that here. Okay, but for the translations, okay, if h is negative, x minus h ends up being x plus h, right? Because it's minus a negative. and it moves left. When that h is positive, it's just x minus, all right, the opposite, so it goes right, just like we talked about. So when h is less than 0, so it means, it's kind of backwards, it's minus a negative. It's always x minus when you do that, vertex form. So minus a negative makes it plus. Okay, vertical translations is just a k, tells you up or down. If you got a positive number, k value is positive, you're going up. If the k value is negative, you're going down. Okay, again, we already knew that. Reflection about the x is opposite of the whole thing. And reflection of the y is when you take the opposite of the x. But what is negative x times negative x? Because that's what it's saying to do, negative x squared. A negative times a negative is a positive. So if you reflect it, this parabola, this red one here, in the parent function spot, if I reflect it about the y, if I fold it on the y-axis, a vertical line there, they just go on top of each other, exact same thing, okay? It's its own reflection. Okay, vertical stretches, we multiplied by the whole thing. All right, stretches, it was a number bigger than 1. So it stretched it, that blue part, so it got longer. If it's between 0 and 1, a fraction, then it kind of squashes it, compresses it, makes it wider. Okay? Now the horizontal stretches, okay? They're harder, all right? So a big H for harder. And then it's 1 over whatever A is. Well, that means reciprocal. 1 over A is the reciprocal of A, right? So think reciprocal when they give you so if your factor is, horizontal stretch of 5, let's say, you go 5 times x, it's actually the reciprocal, so it's 1/5 the number you use. So that's the tricky one. We didn't really work on that because we were just starting this stuff, and it's confusing. So when we get to one of these, we'll talk about it. All right, so let's just look at some examples. All right, just by looking at this, and I'll graph our parent function. Remember, 0, 0, negative 1, 1, positive 1, 1, 2, 4, negative 2, 4. I could go 3 up to 9 if you wanted. 3 squared is 9, and then negative 3 squared is 9. So there's our parent function on that graph. Okay, we all know where that is. The vertex is at 0, 0. Okay, it says graph each function, so I already did that real quick. You guys can do that real quick. Now, some of you got a little sloppy on your test yesterday. Some of your V's, because I think it was absolute value, the one you had to graph, looked like U's. Okay, so some of you missed the point or so because you got kind of sloppy on your graphs. So be accurate on your graphs. All right, anyway, just by looking at this, the vertex is the opposite of +4 and k, negative 1. So basically the transformation was we moved left 4 and down 1. You guys could tell me that by looking at that, right? So we go left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 1. There's my new vertex. Okay? And then what I like to do is just do the same thing from the points I already plotted. So 1, 1 I plotted, so go left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 1. Negative 1, 1 I plotted, so go left 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 1. Or you guys know it's always up 1 and over 1 if you want. You know it's going to go right 2, and then when you square 2, you get 4, so you go up 1, 2, 3, 4. But if I use that point, I can go left 4, down 1, right? Again, over 2, up 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? So it looks like this. Okay? So I like to think about the vertex and not think so much about the transformation. I like to put the vertex down, and then I can look and see what I did from the original vertex, from the original to the new vertex. Then I can think about my transformation. Okay, there's no number out front of my parentheses. So A is a positive 1. You just never write positive 1 in front. So when that's positive, it always opens up when that number out front of the parentheses. Questions on that? Very similar to what we did last chapter, right? But this chapter is just concentrating on parabolas, quadratics. All right. So this one has no parentheses. If I wanted to rewrite this, I could write it like that, right? And there's no number out front. I could add it like that, right? So this same, I just rewrote in blue, that's the same problem, isn't it? But you'll see it like that is, okay? Let's move this up a little bit so we can get it a little closer. Okay. All right. So, again, my parent function, 0, 0, 1, 1, negative 1, 1, 2, 4, negative 2, 4. Okay. We can do that over here too. Let's just do that real quick. We're good at that already. We know that. You guys have done well at the parent functions. Okay? So, this negative out front of the whole thing means to do what? Reflect it or flip it. Okay? So now it's going to go down. All right? It's still going to be the same vertex, 0, 0, because the H and the K are both zeros. All right? Now, the negative 1/2, again, if you want, if you're having trouble to see what's going on, just put in numbers, right? Let's just do negative 2, negative 1, 1, and 2. We know it's 0, 0, right? So what's negative 2 when I square it? Preston. Negative 2 times negative 2. Right, positive 4. Good. What's negative 1/2 of 4? Half of 4 is what? 2, but negative makes it negative 2, right? So at negative 2, it's at negative 2, right? And what's going to happen at positive 2? Are we going to get the same thing? Because positive 2 squared is positive 4. Half of 4 is 2, but it's negative, so negative 2. When I put 1 in there, 1 squared is 1. What's 1 times negative 1/2? 1 times anything? Why are you guys so quiet? Serenity, what's 1 times negative 1/2? Thank you. So that's going to be there. And what's going to happen when I put negative 1 in and square it? I still get positive 1 times negative 1/2. I still get negative 1/2, right? You guys with me on that? So, was this a compression or a stretch? Did it get skinnier vertically or fatter vertically? Oh, yeah. Compression got fatter, right? Wider. All right, so it's a compression by a factor, a vertical compression. All right, so I guess the description, we should describe it because that's what it said. So we reflected about the x, and we did a vertical compression by 1/2. Oh, yeah, 1/2. The negative made it reflect about the x, right? 1/2. So the number out front, if it's a fraction, this compresses it vertically. If it was a whole number like 2, 3, 4, it would have stretched it vertically. Okay? This one. We multiplied the x by 2, not the whole thing, right? So I like to simplify those, like I asked you to do that on the test. Most of you did, a few of you didn't. All right. What's 2x times 2x? 4x squared, right? So, what's happening? Where's my new vertex going to be? Alec?
Would it be the left 4?
No. That's if I would have went x plus 4 in parentheses. It's just 2x in column.
Up 1.
Just up 1, yeah. Just moved up 1. No right or left. Okay? So since there was no number with the x, it's the x value is 0 and the k or the h value is 0 and the k value is 1. So this went up 1. Okay? So since it's just to the x, and we talked about that means it's going to be horizontal stretch or compression. We talked about you got to think about reciprocal. Okay? So what's this reciprocal of 4? 1/4. All right, so that's between 0 and 1. That's a compression. So it's a horizontal compression. Okay, so not this way, I guess, this way. So is it going to make it skinnier or is it going to make it wider, fatter? Skinnier, right? Let's look. Let's just plug numbers in, right? Also, you could do what? You can put it in your y equals, right? On your calculator. We'll do that one in a sec. All right. Well, let's just do our XY table. We already know it's 0, 1, right? 0 squared is 0 times 4 is 0 plus 1 is 1. We already got that point. So let's just do -2, -1, +1, and +2. So what's -2 squared? -2 squared. Come on, help me. 4. What's 4 times 4? 16 plus 1? 17. So at -2, all right, we're way up here somewhere. All right, and then +2, what are you going to get? Same thing, right? So it's way up here. Does that look like it's going to be skinnier? Yeah, let's do the 1. What's 4? What's -1 squared? 1 times 4, 4 plus 1, 5. All right, so 1, 5, and negative 1, 5. So, we'll just kind of do it there. But does that look skinnier? Does it look like it got smashed horizontally, compressed? Okay. So to describe it, all right, are just up 1 and horizontal compression, and then it's a reciprocal of that number. Right. Okay, you're stretching. Okay. All right, let's go to the calculator and type that in. Y equals 4x squared. 4x is right up here next to alpha under mode, left of stat. We've hit stat a lot. Squared buttons right under that inverse button we use for matrices. And then plus 1. All right. We can put I could have put the, we don't have to, but we could put the parent function in there too if you want. It's going to do the hit graph. It should work. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, so what is mine trying to do when it's doing that? Looks like that. What's it trying to do? What did you do?
Scatter plots.
Scatter plots, yeah. It's trying to do a stat plot. So I have to turn my plots off. All right, stat plot is above y equals. So hit second y equals. See, I have that number 1 is on. If I hit 4, not 1, go back. No, I just messed up. All right. Second stat plot, 4, plots off. I hit enter. It'll turn them all off. And then I have to go back to the normal, like this kind of screen, 10 by 10 graph. Hit zoom 6. That's our standard window. So there's the 4x squared, and then there's our parent one. Okay? So you can use your graphing calculator, excuse me, to help you if you're having a little trouble. Any questions so far? That's basically it. What we're doing tonight, this section. Okay? One other thing I want to show you. Are you guys doing okay finding your, let me see, I think that's it. Yeah. Are you guys doing okay finding your book, online book? I want to show you something on there. All right, so I'm going to hit my Big Ideas Math. That's what BIM stands for. Okay. So, why did mine go there? Let me go back and try it again, because I haven't done it for a very long time. Sometimes you guys do that. I guess it didn't. So where's my book? Select the book. Let me do this. This is period 2. See what that happens. No. So I don't even know how to get to my book. Let me do that. Oh, there we go. Where does it say ebook on there?
Mine, when I click the link, it says just go straight to online book. There's like an option.
Was there an option there?
Or like for me, that's what showed up when I clicked on the
Right, yours has an online book picture, right?
Yeah.
Ebook. Is that what you guys got? I was looking for that. Oh, there it is. Ebook. Mine just didn't come out with the little picture. Okay, hit page 50. That's where you're going, right? There it comes. You have to get the one. Get the one that's not Spanish, right? Sorry I'm so slow. All right, so I'm gonna go to page 50.
What were the questions?
What did it say?
What were the questions?
What did it say? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. I just zoom in. I'll tell you in a sec. Look at number 7. It's got a blue highlight around it. If I click on that, it's another video, if you don't like my videos, of how to do something. Did you guys know that? Oh, I have to go to the pointer. I got to turn the pointer on. Sorry. And then it'll have this guy. There might be some other math teacher showing you another way to do stuff. Maybe he'll explain it different to me and makes better sense to you. Okay, so this is another thing I wanted to show you that's possible that you can do on your online book. 2 to 10 even, 16 to 22 even. Page 50. Thanks for your attention. You guys have done a great job so far. Keep up the good work.